Man, I can't believe it. Yeah, this is wild. I was going to say that it truly is an absolute amazing feat that we've made it this far. Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's really wild. I mean, we've uncovered so much data that, you guys have sent to us back to the GSPB about all these different planets and, inhabitants and people and, even borderline illegal activities that all these different timelines have been up to that we had no possibility was ever even happening. Well, that, and it's very interesting learning all the science behind each and every one of these planets and all the data that's been ripe for the plucking so that we can learn how to properly visit and, colloquiate with these cultures. Colloquiate? Colloquiate. You mean colloquiate? No, colloquiate. It's a different way of saying it. You mean, mingle with all these other planets and galaxies. No, colloquiate. I know the English word you're trying to say, but it's awful. Can we even say it in Japanese? Oh man, even saying it in Japanese is awful. Cause do you know how hard it was for me to actually learn Japanese when I first visited Earth the first time around? And then having to learn English on top of that, just so that, the small minority of people who spoke English in Japan could understand what I was saying as well too. Well, I would assume also that, different cultures branch, into different things, but still, what an amazing feat of all this data that we've collected. Yeah. Wow. It's been 2 years. 2 years of this. Yeah, 2 years. And I wasn't even around for most of year 1. Hell, I wasn't even around for most of year 2. That's right, Dewey. You were pretty much just plucked. So, you bait, due to an anomaly, no less. I wouldn't even call it a timeline anomaly. I would call it just a weird occurrence. Yeah, wasn't it basically just there was you and then there was a future version of Crash and, 3 different timelines were all going to intersect and review something at the same time? Pretty much, and because of that, there was a small gap where all 3 of our timelines briefly met with each other. Weird. So, we can definitely cross interdimensional plane jumping off the list. I'm already adding that through my data. I was gonna say, we're celebrating, 2 years of, all these adventures that we've been on to together, and, you and Crash, since he left Earth. Yeah, I was gonna say, where is Johnny? Huh. Come to think of it, he's been pretty absent lately. Yeah, I was gonna say, he's been posting some kinda cryptic, sad things on his socials. Is he okay? He's been kinda going through it lately. Oh, how so? Yeah, what's going on? We're here celebrating the 2 of you. Another excellent year well done on your galactic investigations and missions and travels across the galaxy and beyond. Yeah, we're here popping drinks and snacking and having a good time. Speaking of which, don't mind if I do, you know. Aww. But I need all of the snacks. We made all those hors d'oeuvres for everybody. The Captain likes to get a little hungry. Listen, if I don't eat enough protein and carbs and bulk to smash a planet, you know, where else do you think I'm gonna let out this anger and aggression? Well, let me tell you, you want to go and, yeah, I'm gonna go check up on him. I think I know where he's at. Okay. Just holler if you need anything. Will do. Come in. Hey. Hey. What are you doing all the way up here on the upper command bay? Just admiring the view a little bit. Just thinking. Thinking? Yeah. I was gonna say, everyone was wondering where you went. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's okay. Everything alright? I'm still thinking about what happened. About everything, you know, the last year. And how I'm still wondering if I'll ever get those results or not. Well, didn't you say that it takes more than a year or at least a full cycle to actually, you know, hear back from the results because they do very vigorous, like, thorough testing? Yeah. It's been close to a year to that day. Oh. In fact, it's been over a year. Actually. Oh. So, you're worried that because it's been well over a year that maybe you'll never hear the results? Yeah. I mean, they have my coordinates, they have my, you know, intergalactic number. They're able to call me and tell me. But it's one of those things that you're just, because you haven't heard the results yet, it's freaking you out. Well, it's not just that, but I mean, I still have quite a few people that back on Earth, you know, in my original Earth, you know, my Earth, yeah, that I'm still friends with, that I still deeply care about, that, you know, that obviously probably still miss me, you know, and they were getting along really well with you and really liking you and, you know, and now, ever since we left, more than a couple years ago, you've been wondering, will they still like you with who you are now? Not even that. I've been in space, hopping from a different galaxy to universe to planet to asteroid to timeline, just about everywhere. You know, I've been doing this now for a while, and, you know, even the friends I've made in space, you know, with, I mean, I still remember, you know, I still remember Craig, I still remember Steven, I still remember Agent A, I still remember, you know, talking to people like Rahu and like Rachel and Veronica. You're still wondering who the hell they are as well, too. I mean, we know that they're the galactic protectors of your original universe, but, like, who are they beyond that? Yeah. That's all I know. And I knew I was born with a spiritual and metaphysical purpose beyond just being stuck on Earth, you know. I've always had this feeling since I was a kid. But having concrete proof that you being born on Earth physically as a human, you need to know for yourself if it was ever planned out to begin with or just a happy little accident. Well, you know, part of the reason why I've been with you for so long has also been to study your NO abilities, right? Yes, I'm aware. We talked about that when, you know, you and I were dating, you know, even before we were just acquaintances and just friends. Do you think we'll ever revisit and talk about what it was like? You know? What, before we got together as a couple? Yeah. Probably. There's some untold stories that I'd love to share maybe one of these days. Including how we first originally met. Yeah. I mean, in detail, but, you know, yeah. I mean, we've hinted at it and talked about it, like, in this sense, but, like, in detail, yeah. But you remember when I talked to you and told you part of the reason why I'd be tagging along and sort of being a mentor and, you know, a guide through all this with you was because your NO abilities combined with your spiritual and astral projection abilities make you the perfect cocktail blend, ultimate margarita of untapped energy and resources. Yeah. I remember. Still. We have seen proof, time and time again, that you not only have metaphysical spiritual abilities that are tied deeply within the roots of, you know, the universe and universes themselves, but the fact that your NO never reached its full potential as a kid. Hell, you never even had access to your NO as a kid. Is not something to gawk at lightly. The fact that you're finally tapping into it as an adult is unheard of. Come in. Yeah, come in. Hey. Hey, Genio. Ah. Everyone was wondering where he went. Yeah. Sorry about that. He seemed kinda distant. Yeah. Sorry about that. You're alright. Yeah, I was gonna say we're celebrating, you know, a milestone, and here you are, sulking. Yeah. I'm sulking because I want to know who I really am. I want to discover who I am and what I can do. And if I can reach beyond that. But I think the other thing is I'm having also kind of a weird moral problem. Which is, do you think, all the friends that I've made all these years, all the families I've met, all the people who have taken me in, all the acquaintances, all the friends that I have and loved ones who, are not just human, but like, spiritual beings, deities, creatures, aliens, monsters, armadillo people, everybody. Like, do you think people would like me or love me if I wasn't human? Oh. Oh. Like, do you think people would actually still associate with me if I wasn't human? Let me take this one, Haruko. Sure. I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go back and check on people. Crash. Yeah, Junior? Let me ask you something. Sure. When you were born on Earth, how magical was that feeling of seeing your parents for the first time? I'd say pretty magical. I, you know, I don't talk about my mom and dad that often because that'd be a conversation in it itself for a long time, but I do love them, despite all their flaws. My dad was an explorer, an adventurer. He, you know, he used to live in multiple states with his family. He met the love of his life, and he even, moved to an entirely different country just for the sake of, food and knowledge and language and traveling. He was a very grand person, despite his flaws. And what about your mom? My mom also has a deep-rooted history with, travel in the world. She never got to know her parents, but like her biological parents, but her bloodline transcends and, is part of a rich European culture. And my mom loved to indulge in, learning how to bake different things from different cultures, learning how to, socialize and, partake in, the quieter moments from different cultures and different people. Mom loved the energy that she could provide, but also gain from other families and people, And she even traveled a lot too. Okay. So, you're telling me that seeing your parents for the first time was pretty magical, that your parents come from a long history of also being very gifted with the world of curiosity, and I assume the rest of your bloodline did? Yeah, the rest of my bloodline did too when they were alive. And even the ones that I did leave back on Earth, who are still alive, still all have a sense of adventure. And they love discovering new things. What's your point? Well, I think that they would have loved you not for the physical version of who you are, but rather the person that you grew up to be, the person that you became, the person that was invited into other people's homes, the person that helped another person even when they were down, the person that was always there to lend a helping hand, the person who offered help spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally, the person that helped around with projects in the backyard, who planted grass and had a green thumb, who would spend their time cleaning pools and sharing laughs and jokes with people, who would always make sure that even when the chips were down for one person, you'd bring their energy and their spirits right back up. You're a man of adventure and exploration. It didn't matter if you were human. It didn't matter if you were an alien. It didn't matter if you were a giraffe. Why a giraffe? I don't know, just a random example. Didn't matter if you were a talking car. Didn't matter if you were even just a spiritual entity trapped inside a human body. You're you. And the version of you that's you now left and took on the legacy of exploration in probably the biggest way possible. And you've left a pretty big footprint across the multiverse, across different galaxies, timelines even. You've met a lot of interesting people. You've met a lot of strange people. You've met a lot of creatures and beings that still cared about you no matter what. And you make my sister happy. A lot. And it's because of you that she changed into a better being. Really? You know how many times she's brought up Adamisk since she's been around with you? Only maybe once or twice, if that. She was obsessed with the bird brain. Completely. That's all she ever cared about, was arresting him, finding him, consuming his NO power, and wanting all of his energy and power to himself. Or to herself. I don't know. She wanted to take that energy from him and consume it for herself. Do you know how many times she's mentioned Medical Mechanica since, you got into her life? 0. None. None whatsoever. She's let her guard down. She relaxed. She felt what it was like to actually be human because of you. To have relationships because of you. To have friendships because of you. To actually heal from past trauma because of you. Okay, I'm not that great. Do you know how many times she's mentioned even the Interstellar Bureau? Let me take a wild guess. 0, 0. Amuro and the rest of his goons have not even once been up her ass about anything in a while. Because of you. Point is, you're a good inspiration for her. And she's changing in ways that I am so proud of because of you. You helped her get to this point. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if you were human, an alien, a prophet, or 3 raccoons in a skin suit. Oh God! Just the thought though, right? Kinda wild. Yeah. You're family. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm completely concerned, you're part of this boy party. I love you, John. I love you too, Junior. There's a phone call. It says it's from DNA Technologies. Oh no, is that? Yes, that's the call. Oh my God. Hang on. I'll go get everyone. No, don't get everyone. Oh God. She's already left. Just breathe. Just breathe, Johnny. You've been waiting for this call since forever. Hello? Hello? May I speak to a Mr. Crash, aka John. Yes, this is he. I want to go over your results.